Hey guys, or hola. If you're watching this when it came out, happy Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. And I have been working on this tag for a little while now. It's been an idea for a lot longer, but me and so my co-writer of this uh, tag is Esther Marie Andujar. Andura. I might be saying her last name wrong. I will link her channel up here. You can check out her channel. She is also a author working on being traditionally published as of now. You know, all of our things can change. But check her out. Subscribe to her. She's so fun. I will link at the end and maybe in the cards also her tag for her take on this video, on this tag that we created together, and the link will be down below also to her video and her channel and all of her socials. She's also a virtual assistant, so check her out for that if you want to. She's awesome. She's really nice. She's kind. She just moved back to Puerto Rico, and her Instagram is filled with cute puppy pics. I also wanted to put a kind of disclaimer because I'm still uncertain of labels and identification stuff. And if you've also been watching my channel for a while, you know that I have a ongoing series which will be updated twice by the end of this year. That's a review / vlog of books that have Hispanic or Latinx main characters and or from authors. And you will know that I shortened the title to make it easier to say. But with talking to Esther and trying to dive a little bit more into the little tiny hole that I have been able to find from the community that's on YouTube and online, it sounds like I took the term Latinx to kind of be a catch-all term. For you to identify as Latinx, to identify as anything, whether it's that you normally identify as Hispanic or Chicano, Chicana, or Latina, Latino, in any individual country. So I thought that that was a kind of catch-all term for everything, which is why I renamed my series, which I'll also have linked either in the cards or down below or both. I named my series that. And in talking to Esther and us trying to figure out what exactly we were going to title this, we decided to kind of just title it both. So as a disclaimer, we chose this title so that anyone who identifies with these titles can do the tag, as we did not want to accidentally exclude anybody who wanted to do this tag. Let's get on with the tag. So, question number 1 is introduce yourself and your heritage. So, my name is Dolores Medill. I am a adult fantasy, sci-fi, romance, romance, aspiring writer or aspiring author, writer. I also am a gamer and I infuse writing into my games. I like to call myself a storyteller, and I am pursuing traditional publishing, as well as trying to do this full time and be a streamer full time and just be creative. This is my version of creative. I'm not traditionally well at art or any physical other artistic craft. I just enjoy writing stories, whether it's making a story through gameplay or through traditionally normal written word. I truly enjoy that. So that's who I am. My heritage is Hispanic. I self-identify as Hispanic because that is the easiest for most people to understand. I have tried since since high school, when I had to start filling out paperwork for like college, and I tried for many years, off and on, to identify as Mexican American. And if you look at my tags on most of my videos here on YouTube or anything on Instagram, I usually have it still tagged as Mexican American writer, Mexican American gamer, Mexican American something of another, as I'm still struggling and trying to identify as that. Many people just don't understand. So I identify as either Hispanic, Mexican American. I prefer Mexican American, but Hispanic is also something that I identify with also. So that is me. Question number 2. Does your current or future whip have Hispanic characters? So my current whip has nothing to do with my ethnicity or my heritage. It is a fun story that I was inspired by my dad and at the time, the current influence of Fae in YA. It is an adult fantasy, slightly infused sci-fi elf story. And when I say elves in the inspiration of like Tolkien for Lord of the Rings, like adult, like person-sized elves aspect, not like Santa elves, like little people elves. No. But for future whips, I love mythology. I have loved mythology for a very, very long time, especially because my father has a minor in planetary science. So I was very attached to a lot of his astronomy classes and the space, hence why I love sci-fi. And when you learn about constellation stars, all of that is attached to mythology, Greek and Roman mythology to be precise. That greatly infused. I am much more familiar with that. But as I've gotten older, I've tried to expand my knowledge of mythology through there. I love anime and manga, so I did definitely dive into a lot of Japanese, Chinese mythology, and as an adult now, I've tried to expand much more, including into my own culture. So, like, I know certain folklores, especially folklores native to here, but I currently am on a journey to try and learn more about the mythology of Mexico, specifically Aztec versus Mayan, as my family came from like the upper part of Mexico, not the southern part, which goes into Central America, that I'm aware of. And so I've been journeying into that. I personally, this sounds weird, but enjoy death, or at least the concept of like the underworld and the rulers of death. I've always had some weird fascination with Hades or Pluto. And I mean, in a fantasy standpoint, I love vampires. So, I mean, that could have been influenced by like I'm part of the generation of Twilight, but let's not talk about that right now. And I got inspired to write a story about a lower goddess who was a daughter of the Lord of the Underworld. But yeah, so currently, no. But in the future, yes. And honestly, it pays rent in my brain, and I'm constantly thinking about it off and on. So in the future, I definitely have plans to infuse my heritage into my stories. Question number 3. As a writer, do you want to write stories inspired by your heritage or your experience as a Hispanic in or out of the US or whichever country you live/grow up in? And again, Hispanic can mean anything. It doesn't have to mean just what Hispanic actually, the definition of Hispanic actually means. So again, I live in the United States. I actually live in the Southwest. I live in Southern Arizona. Uh, and I did talk about wanting to infuse Aztec mythology. I might, who knows, expand into Mayan, but for the most part, right now, my focus is on Aztec mythology, and definitely have plans to do that. How much of a plan, I don't know, but in the sense of my experience as a Hispanic person in the US, no, I don't. I don't write contemporary. I have tried many times, and there was one that I actually was going to have a Hispanic, um, Mexican American character in, and I got like, mm, I don't, maybe like 5,000 words in, maybe less into the story, and quickly got bored. So, I have problems writing contemporaries, and I will probably never. Well, they never say never. But as of right now, I'm most likely ain't going to write contemporaries at all. I do enjoy reading them, especially romance contemporaries. I would actually love to read a book with someone in my position, someone who is Mexican American, who is very far removed from the immigration story, who doesn't speak Spanish, or at least knows very little, and our experience here. So I would love to read a story like that, but whether I am the perfect person to write that or not, I don't think so, but I don't have plans for that. Question number 4. Do you have a favorite book that you feel makes you feel seen or represented? So again, there's not a lot of stories from Hispanic or Latinx authors when I was growing up. And if there were, they were a lot of nonfiction, the story of how I immigrated kind of thing, or stories of how I started my business. They're very adult books. So there wasn't a lot. And there wasn't a lot of like what we would call middle grade or teen also when I was growing up. If there was any, they were picture books as a kid, and they were just cute things. Uh, and if you watch my first video, which is long, be aware, I do kind of talk about books and stuff that I read when I was younger, and then uh, books that I had to actually look up and was kind of hard to find. I have a little section in that somewhere in the middle. But the first book I truly loved and enjoyed, and I'll put it here because there's more space and I don't want to cover that up, was Esperanza Rising. I loved that book. And I swear to goodness, I have a copy of it. And when I went to my parents to look, I couldn't find it. I don't know where. I don't know if I brought it home with me and it's in a box somewhere, because I do have still some of my things in boxes that I had brought from my parents' house that I never unpacked when we were at a different apartment. And now that we're in even a smaller apartment, it's definitely ain't coming out of the box. So I don't know if it's there, or if it got lost, which hurts my feelings. I'm gonna have to buy a new copy of it. But I read Esperanza Rising. I don't remember if I read it just in the sense of like I found it at school, or if it was like I read it for a project. I don't even remember, but I just remember reading the story and being like, oh, this girl's like me. She brown. And like her talking of like a quinceañera and having to like help around the house because I did have a sick parent, so I did have to do like similar things in that sense for different reasons, of course, but having to do things, and I was the oldest, so I helped take care of my siblings. Um, so there was layers of where I connected to her, not necessarily for her immigration story, but things that she was doing, and just the fact that she was brown. She wasn't white. And I didn't really think about that until later when I was older and reflecting on that and people talking about representation now. I was like, you know what? Yeah, that I feel like that is why I so greatly connected to her. And then now I'm slowly trying to read things. The book I would say that I truly also felt somewhat represented by, but it wasn't from the main character, was Aiden Thomas's Cemetery Boys. And it was from the love interest, Julian, that I felt represented for, because even though I didn't agree at the end when we found out the true reason why he doesn't speak Spanish, but when he told Gabriel, did I say his name right? I don't know. That he didn't speak Spanish, that he doesn't speak it. I felt very seen, because again, I don't speak Spanish. I don't. I know couple of words. I know some very common words that we spoke at home that we never referred to the English term, which was hard. Like, I called my grandmother Nana, and I did not know that Nana and Grandma were the same word until like almost middle school, because I finally actually had a teacher like sit down and explain to me that they were the exact same word. um, that was interesting because it was so late. But yeah, I do know certain words because they were just words that we always said in Spanish, just like basic common things. Esperanza Rising and Aiden Thomas, I'll try to see if I can put them both up, are the two books that I felt most seen and most represented by, for two different reasons, but not 100%. And I did a review for Aiden Thomas's Cemetery Boys. It should be up before this is up. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it in the bio. And I'm also going to link somewhere at the end or down below or in the cards the whole playlist. And it's going to be the most recent video on the playlist. Question number 5. Have you ever been inspired by folklore or mythology from your heritage or local area? And yes, I recently thought of a new idea that would probably be like a contemporary fantasy kind of esque idea. I don't know if I'll make it into the future, make it a sci-fi, or just keep it contemporary fantasy. About a story pretty much my dad told me that has to do with like the chupacabra, and how I grew up viewing the chupacabra. But I've already talked about extensively about mythology and how I feel about it, and so yes, I have been. Question number 6 is, do you like to write more contemporary stories about your heritage or fantastical? And I've also said, I'm really bad at this tag. Wow, okay. I choose to be more fantastical. Whether fantastical is the definition of sci-fi or fantasy, I am incapable of writing a pure contemporary, as I have already stated. So, yeah, more contemporary, or less contemporary, more fantastical than contemporary. Wow, words. Question number 7. What would you like to see more in books with Hispanic characters, whether you include it or not in your wit? So, what I would love to see with Hispanic characters is the range. And I don't just mean the fact of, having more than just Mexican or more than just Puerto Rican, as those are the two that I feel like are most commonly known here in America, but also people who are from like Cuba, or actually, I guess Cuba Puerto Rico and Mexico would be the three most popular, as they're the ones closest to us. But also people from like the Dominican Republic. There is Hispanic influences in like Jamaica, people from Central America and South America, Latin America, people from all of those other countries. Not just that, but the range of people here in America. So, as I stated before, my family is very far removed from the immigration story. And usually, if there's conversations, it's about the immigration story, which is important and valid and still happening today. And there are so many problems with our immigration process here. But I would like to see the expansion. Like I said, I'd love to read a story about someone who was like me, someone who has grown up here in America their whole life, and not just someone who grew up farther away from the border. I don't live too far from the border. Um, I live like a few hours away. And my place in the community is a weird place because most of my peers were first generation, maybe at the most second generation, and spoke still very fluent Spanish, whether with an accent or not. And me, being non Spanish speaking at all and barely understanding, and nowadays I can sort of have a broken conversation with you, and but I don't have any of that. And someone's view on that, and how, the non Mexican or Hispanic community sees you as just another Mexicano, or how the Mexican community then looks down on you because you are not being Mexicano. You are not being respectful of our heritage, when I am, but in my way. You have a lot of those pulls and influences, but then you're very cemented in the American culture because that is your culture. You were born here, and there's this weird pull in between that sometimes I do feel, but at the same time I don't, because again, I'm a generation that's very removed from Mexico, and I wouldn't say Americanized because I'm American. That's I was fully born and cemented into American culture with Hispanic influences, with Mexican influences. So I'd love to see more of that, whether it's in a fantastical way or in a contemporary. I feel like most people see contemporaries as more influential, so probably more of those. Yeah, I would love to see more diversity in the type of characters you see in books that are of our culture. And I guess I'd also love to have characters from multiple different communities, but different types in that sense is what I would truly love to enjoy. Question number 8 is, what parts of your heritage would you like to be represented or shown more in books that are not commonly done? So besides everything I just spewed out from the last, I'd also like to see more books based off of like the little things. So part of what I loved about Aiden Thomas's story is that it took influence from mythology and a celebration that we celebrate now, which is the Day of the Dead. And I personally have been surrounded by death a lot, and as an adult now, I am embracing more of the idea and what it actually means for the Day of the Dead. Um, so I would love to have more exploration on that, but also uh, other celebrations like Cinco de Mayo. Lots of people know about Cinco de Mayo, but it is a drinking holiday. But no one really knows what the holiday means or the importance of what the holiday is. So I would love to have like certain celebrations, or not celebrations, certain stories revolving around that, or stories about, not that I want it to be a religious book, but stories about how religion is so influenced on the community, whether you are Catholic or some version of Christian, different version of Christian, because Catholicism is Christian, but different versions of that, or people who choose to be atheists, and how a lot of our now customs are so imbued with Christianity that honestly, sometimes I think it would be difficult to separate them. So a lot of little things, if people could create stories based off of little aspects. And I'm sure that there are other traditions too that would be great to do in other places, which I greatly look forward to seeing your guys' views on that. Question number 9 is fun question. Afternoon coffee, yes or no? If a fun memory comes and you would like to share it, feel free to do so. I do not drink coffee. I know it is a very Latinx Hispanic thing to drink coffee. It's very popular across all the iterations of um, Spanish-speaking countries. Coffee is very important, especially because a lot of like southern South America actually grow coffee. So no, I do not drink coffee, so I don't have a personal relationship to that, but most of my family does. And I was talking to Esther about this when she offered this question, and I'm just like, do I have a memory of family drinking coffee? Like, I don't even know, besides like maybe parties. But then even then, that's usually later in the evening. So I don't know. Tell me your story. Afternoon coffee? Yes? No? Down in the comments? What did it make you think of? I thought of question marks. So, because I wanted to be even. Question number 10. Do you have any Hispanic authors you would recommend others check out? So I mentioned a couple of books, and a couple of authors, some by name and some I couldn't remember. So I'm going to look to the side at my computer for some websites that I popped up, and I will put all of these authors' websites down below so that you can check out their author website and then find all their socials if you're curious about them. Some I have read, some I have not read, and I'm interested in reading, just haven't got there yet. Aiden Thomas, obviously, who did Cemetery Boys, he did come out recently with I want to make sure I'm in frame, with a new book called Lost in the Never Woods, which is a like Peter Pan inspired story. He is writing a new book, called Graveyard Gods, which has to do with mythology. I don't really know much about it. Just because it's mythology, I am interested in it. Yeah, so I would check out Aiden Thomas. The author that I couldn't remember her name, who does have a YouTube channel, which I will link down below, and I'll probably link her in the cards, honestly, here, is Amparo Ortiz. She has done the Blaze Wrath games, that's what it's called. It's a young adult Dominican Republic about dragons, which is interesting. She is on my list to read, but I have watched her YouTube channel, and she does a lot of hot takes that are necessary, I think. I enjoy her. And these are all traditionally published, first of all. None of these are indie published. Or no, one is, but the rest of them are all traditionally published. Another author who does have a YouTube channel is Marissa Moki. She's half Mexican American, and she just put out a short story collection called Ex Libres, and it's a really nice collection. I truly enjoyed it. She also does a lot of e-courses and kind of like coaching. I took her class, which, not that I'm trying to sell, but I will have a link. I always have a link to it down below when it's open. That's called Art Like a Boss, where it helps you as a creative person make a business from it. I truly enjoy her. She's so nice and fun, and again, very real. I truly enjoy that. And I'll link her channel up also, and I'll put everything down below. Now, the author who has the adult romance that I'm going to be reading, which is going to be the next installment in my series, her name is Alexis Daria. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I haven't heard her name being said. But she just came out with her second book in that series of like standalone romances. I'm going to read the first one. So there's that one. Especially for like adult content. Because Amparo and Aiden both have young adult. And then another one, which is Johnny Garcia Villa. He is a young adult author. His debut book is 1,500 Miles from the Sun. I watched an interview with him and Aiden, and that's how I found him. His story is kind of goes into the idea of someone who doesn't really speak Spanish, from what I understand. Again, I haven't read his debut. It's on my list to read and probably put into my series. So if you're interested in that, again, check out my series. Subscribe to me, because see for when I eventually read it. I still want to enjoy these books, so I'm not hardcore like every month something doesn't come out. I did try to do that, but then it became too much of a chore, and I was like, nah, I want to actually enjoy reading these books. So it's a sporadic thing. But yes, he is also a debut author. And then the last author I have for you guys, that in the sense I do follow a couple of others, but I don't really know who they are. These are all authors that I either have read and interested in reading, or in the sense of Marissa's, no. So, the last one I have is Zora Gordala. There's an alien, Gordala. I might be saying that wrong. I have a very hard time saying names, and I always make it more complicated than it should be. But she has, I think, like 2 books out. Let's see. Oh no, actually no. She's one of the ones that actually has a lot of books. She has multiple things out. She also, as I'm looking at her things, she has a few series. She also has written with Star Wars, from what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, I found her because, as I'm just staring at these, because I didn't know about her whole collection. I just follow her on Twitter. But I found her when I was trying to look up authors on Storygraph, and her series Incendiary came out, which is a young adult book, I'm pretty sure, which is why I kind of put it to the side when I was looking for books, because at the time I wanted to read an adult one. But yeah, she apparently has a huge list, so go check her out too. I don't know her as well as the other ones, in the sense of I don't have as much interaction on social media with her, or I haven't seen like a video interview with her. But yeah, I would recommend those. Those are all authors that I am currently interested in and curious about, or have read, or again, in Marissa Mohi's situation, I actually know her. Yeah, those are my recommendations. They'll all either be linked, everyone will be linked down below for sure, but some will be in cards, and that's probably it, because I can't put too much on the title screen at the end, or end screen, because that would be a mess. Yeah, so some in the cards, everyone will be down below, and the questions will also be down below, so that you can copy and paste the questions and have them all there. And yeah, that is my original Hispanic Latinx Writer Heritage Tag for Hispanic Heritage Month or Latinx Heritage Month, however you refer to the holiday. On my calendar, it's technically labeled Hispanic Heritage Month, so meh. But yeah, let me know. Answer whatever questions down below if you want to. Let me know your answers. If you have author suggestions, please, or book suggestions, put them down below. I want to read again more, not just for my series, but in general. Check that down below. And yeah, and if you have a YouTube channel and you're watching this and you somehow magically found this video or Esther's video and you came from Esther's and you're going to do this tag, please leave a comment. Let me know so I can watch it. Or all my socials are down below. DM me on Instagram or Twitter, anything like that. Let me know, because I want to watch it. I'm so excited because I've never done, I love tags and I've done plenty of tags, but I've never made my own. So I'm super excited. Let me know if you do this. But again, if you don't have a YouTube channel, you can just give me answers down below and I'll read them. And yeah, that's so exciting. And this is also just if you have if you're gonna do this somewhere else, like on Instagram or on TikTok, or on Twitter, let me know too. Send me links, DM me. Yeah, I just want to see. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you're interested in my journey, anything I talked about, you can hit subscribe, check out my vlogs. I'm doing a soft reset on the channel because I had to be away for a little bit. But yeah, my vlogs are chaos. So if you're interested in weird, chaotic check-ins, then yeah, there's that. You can check out. You can hit my, how is YouTube centered again? My face is over here. Yes, my face is over here. You can click my face, go to my channel, check out all my playlists. I love playlists, so I have plenty of them. Check out any of my playlists for my content. Also, you can just check out my videos in general. And yeah, so I also stream on Twitch. All my gaming content, except for some of my older ones, all of them are originally streamed live on Twitch, and then I re-edit them and put them up here on YouTube. So if you want to check out those, I also do writing sprints on Twitch, including on here, but most of my live stuff is on Twitch. So if you want to check me out there and come hang out with me and talk with me, yeah, I stream later in the day for Arizona time. So I tend, if you are living in a different part of the country, I mean, not country, world, it might be a better time for you to live stream. So you can check me out there. And yeah, if you're just interested in this journey and chaos to being a traditionally published author and being a content creator, I guess, I don't know, what am I saying? I haven't done this in a while. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell, go to my channel, check out my website, links, everything down below. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and adios. Tell stories and prosper.